Hello, hello, hello. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday, ATHLers. Welcome to my Tuesday show. My name is Abby Tyler. I'm a practicing family nurse practitioner, content creator, health contributor, and community health volunteer. How are you all today? Happy Tuesday again. Happy August also. So happy August and happy birthday to everybody celebrating their birthday in the month of August. So before I do that, let me say happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. So weather's crazy out there today. It's supposed to start getting really hot again. Right now it's like 89 degrees in my neck of the woods. How are you guys doing? Happy August again. As you guys can see, the topic today is let's talk about sex. We're going to be talking about sex. So, this was a request from one of my viewers, one of the viewers and members that said, we have problems in our community when as people get older or they're in a relationship and then things happen and, they're not being intimate after a while and people are having problems with that. So, I said, let's talk about it. Okay. Anyways, and also, first, my disclaimer as always whatever I say here shouldn't take the place of you seeing your own personal provider because I'm giving general information. And I'm also not a sex therapist, but this is something I do as a family nurse practitioner. I talk to people about their sex lives. I also prescribe medications and all that. So, without further ado, let's get into it. First, let me share this show. Okay, so just give me 2 seconds and I'll be doing that. Get people invited, share the video, share the video. It's gonna be exciting. So everybody, people's asking me, what are you getting this show on? What are you getting this show on? So I just have to do this here. So give me 2 seconds. I wish it was any other group. I would have been playing it like a nice little music right now, but let me put my glasses on first. So okay, 2 seconds. So go in here and I'm going to share this. I'm going to just load this a little bit. 2 seconds. All right. Okay. So, any songs you guys sing to get you in the mood? It's like thinking, lay me down, soft and easy, wake me up and let me fly you, give me love and understanding, love me like no other can. That's a song from way back in the day, so I really dated myself, but that song was around when I was a child, so like I said before, we were exposed to all the different music and all that. So I'm just changing my sharing this here in a few seconds, and I will be right with you guys. So, okay. Alrighty, so invite each other, invite your friends, share the show, share the show, share the show, so we can all be here and talk about sex. Okay. Um, this is a show for a mature audience. I'm not here to talk about the morality part, the religious part, and all that, but this is for a mature audience. Also, so if you don't want your younger age child, if they're sitting next to you, you might want to put your headphones on, or you might want to send them out of the room, or get yourself a quiet place and listen to it. Okay, so I will go in here and let me go to my notes and then we can start. Okay, technology. Oh, okay. So, like I said, mature audience. So I see, oh, wow, God, it's some nice, nice people working there. So, again, like I said, this is a topic that was recommended by one of my friends. Like I said, if you guys have any topics you want me to talk about, if it falls in the forum, in the guidelines of this forum, I'll be more than glad to talk about it. So I talk about it. This is mostly about healthy sex life and how sex relates to aging. So age and sex are closely related. When it comes to like sexual activities and all that too, and your libido, meaning your ability, your desire to have sex and all that too, you wanting it and desiring it, it goes up, it takes like goes back and forth, and it's different. It differs between male and female, and also different ages as well. So you probably heard that female sex peaks later on and then male continues. So let's go there. For female, the libido tends to increase as the fertility drops and then it dips after menopause. So your personal sexual appetite is determined primarily by the brain functions, hormones, cultures, beliefs, religious beliefs, and attitudes about sex. It can change because of your mental state, stress levels, overall health, medications, long-term hormonal changes. Again, like I said, for culture, this is we all come from. If you come from a community or a culture that really regulates how women are supposed to feel about sex, if they're supposed to like sex and they're supposed to just be acting all chaste and do that, then your beliefs about sex as it relates to aging and all. You're gonna be like, oh no, and if you're Liberian, as soon as you get to like age 30 or so, you had your first child, second child, by then they'd be like, oh, you old now, you're not supposed to be thinking about men anymore, or you shouldn't even express your sexuality because we look at it, we frown upon it in our culture. Now, if you're like a healthy, beautiful 30-some-year-old, of course, but even that's still thinking. And then also we grew up like, okay, we were women and we're girls and all, you're not supposed to really like it, because if you like it, I mean, think about it. In society, any society, they have so many names for women who are promiscuous or who just even want to express their sexuality. First thing you go, the woman is hopojo, the woman is wayo, the woman is in American culture, she's a slut, she's a this and all that. For men, stud. That's it, they're studs. And, he's a ladies' man, he's this, he never gets anything wrong. He can want sex forever and a day. Okay. Jennifer Lopez, she's been married a couple of times. Oh my God. And people are like, oh, but there goes Nick Cannon. He's married one time and he's making 10,000 babies. And the only thing is, as long as he can take care of it, that's fine. So everything your culture believes and your religious beliefs, especially for those people who are religious and all that, it's only for procreation. So you're not supposed to be wanting it anymore and that. And then you're supposed to be, if you want it as a woman more often than your husband's not thinking that you're probably messing around. So many things that go on with it. So, okay. So how does age and sex drive? Okay. So we'll go from there. Female hormones, I talk about, let me get to this. So it all determines by testosterone. So what is testosterone? Testosterone is an androgen hormone produced by, I told you guys about I did my hypothyroidism, hyperthyroidism. So the thyroid substance is the one that regulates everything in the body, and it also produces sex hormones. So it helps for itself produce the testes, which is your testicles and all that, the ovaries, the egg pouch that the woman keeps on. Every female has that to be able to produce the egg in order to be able to menstruate and also get pregnant. And it's responsible for the primary sex hormone. So it stays in body. It's at its healthy level as you get, or when you're older, and it starts to dip as you get older. So it dip down, and so because of that, your ability to want and do it all the time, maybe lowering also. Now, this is not for people. There was always some people who can still do it and still want it to the day they die. Okay. So I'm not talking about those people who are off the chart either way. I'm talking about those the natural ones. Okay. By the way, this is from my own schooling stuff. And I also got this interesting article from this doctor. So for males, let's go through that. Okay. For males, it stimulates the secondary sex characteristics associated with male, like a body hair. I already talked about that. So I'm just going to go through that. Okay, so some of the reasons for causing it's also called libido, like your libido if you want to have sex, the desire to have sex. Okay, some of the things that cause your ability not to want it, pain during sex, diabetes. Also, I told you guys about circulation and how it affects that, high blood pressure, arthritis, different prescription medications, antidepressants, some heart medications as well. Now, please don't go changing anything without speaking to your doctor first, okay? Excess alcohol consumption, because if you're drunk and you're tired, that relaxes you and you're not going to be in the mood, okay? And also, but at the same time, if you're a woman and you're doing that and you have to keep yourself safe, don't put yourself in a position where somebody can harm you. Okay, smoking, that can also cause hardening the arteries and all, make it less enjoyable. Fatigue, surgery, low self-esteem, body issues, relationship and concerns. So now let's talk about how your libido changes through the ages. Okay, let me drink some water here. I'll check some questions later. Okay, alrighty. So regardless of your biological sex, I'm not talking about those who are assigned male at birth and those who are assigned female at birth. I'm not talking about the other one, okay? Your testosterone levels are really high in your 20s, and your sex drive is generally well, and you're just bouncing around like rabbits, just enjoying it, having a good time, okay? Females in the late 20s, it's the same thing as men. It's like peaks, and then it starts dipping a little bit in your 20s for females. Okay, then it starts catching up again when you get into your 30s, because then you start wanting it more and more and more, especially for females. So for 30s, and then in your 30s, especially like I said, in our culture, you be man that way, you used to be doing maybe too much and all this. So it's like, and then like I said, depending on the culture, if you look from a culture where it's not free to celebrate your sexuality and just being a female and all, that can cause a problem. So you feel like repressed to want to do that. So testosterone continued to decline to the 30s in males, and some just say it declines like 1% per year. The drop in libido may become noticeable because your partner be like, and then, well, how come you not want to do it anymore? I mean, we're supposed to be, where is going on here? Do you not like me anymore? Are you seeing somebody else? For females, this is when their sex drive just goes really off the rail. That's when you, again, like I said, if you get in a relationship during this time, you're more apt to do it, and getting becoming sexual very early, because it's somewhere to say, ironically, somewhere in the brain that says you're getting to the point where you may not be able to have children anymore because you hit into like 30. Now I know people can have babies way in the 50s. I'm not talking about that. Normally, it's best to have your babies long before you hit the 40s. Okay, so at that point, your body is telling you, hurry up, you need to do this and need to get the babies and get everything out of the way. It doesn't matter whether you've had like 10,000 babies before. The body's telling you, okay, naturally, we want to hurry up, and, so you need to be doing it more. So, of course, the woman, and sometimes it's like she's free, the kids are a little older, and she wants to do it more. And sometimes the husband would be like, damn, okay. Sorry for using that word. Like, could you slow down a little bit? Or, are you doing something? Or you messing around? Why you so, all of a sudden you're so loose and initiating it? Because in our culture and certain places, if you initiate it, then that means you're doing something where you're not supposed to be doing, and all that. Again, going back to whether we're free to talk about this. So I talk about this with my patients too. Like, they'll be like, sometimes if I want to come about, and it'd be like, oh my God, I can't. So you feel repressed. So, but at that age, physiologically, your body's telling you you need to do it more, because you get into the age where you don't want to, you may not want to do it anymore. Okay, so again, like I said, this is your biological clock. When you get to your 40s, again, in our culture, oh, then you really old man now, because every our culture, everybody's a youth. They can be up to, for men, they can be a youth up to 50. For women, you're youth up until you're 30. Because once they'll tell you, what's the thing they say? Your age is off the calendar now, so you shouldn't be acting like you some kind of, a woman, desirable woman. And we still have that thinking. By the way, one of our members is Liberian Women, the New Generation. It's a forum. They talk about sexuality and talk about everything that pertains to women and healthy relationships. Also, Women with Words. There's another group. They talk about all of that too. So it is like all day. They talk about so many different things. It's not just that, but they talk about like womanhood and everything in relationships. So you might want to go in that group. They talk more about that. Okay. So, but in the 40s, there's a drop in the male libido during this decade. It's typically more apparent. And then usually that's when you start noticing as a man. And usually that's when my patients start asking me about, can you give me something to kind of, because now I'm having a problem. And I asked them, I said, do you have a problem, becoming erected? Do you have a problem maintaining the erection? So that's when we start talking about that. So you want to make sure that when we're talking about this, and as a medical person, I'll start asking questions about other things. And also I have to do my examination to make sure there's no other issues going on there that is causing that, because my most important thing is to make sure your heart is okay for you to be able to do that. Okay, but most men is like, oh, okay, yeah, just give me something, I'm fine. I said I have to do some blood work and all that, make sure you're fine. Yeah, okay, when I get the blood work done, you're just gonna give it to me now? You're just gonna give it to me? And then sometimes it's like, can we just wait? And as soon as the blood work come back, I already looked it up. Can you give it to me now? So, and it's like again, men are supposed to do it, and they're supposed to want it, and it's like, and then it's sometimes, especially at this age, they're in their 40s, and they're seeing younger girls who are paying attention to them, because men age differently than women. So the younger girls are looking at them, and they might want to flex their malehood, and also all of that, being able to be virile, being able to last longer, and wanted every minute. That's priority at that age, because it's like, okay, I'm not young, I'm a little bit mature, I have my education, I can do all this, so I can come across as like this young person. They start exercising more and showing the chest and wearing tight shirts, and sometimes you're still okay. And then the 40 is not old, by the way. So don't, I'm not saying that it's old. I'm just saying physiologically, usually that's when this happens. For female, this is when you start entering, some females will start entering menopause, like age 40. Menopause meaning that's when you stop seeing your period and you can no longer produce a baby. So the periods will start being the hormones will start fluctuating at this stage. They may not be seeing the period like every month. Some people start as early as 40, depending on your mother or like another female sibling. Yeah. So at this point, yes, they'll start losing some interest in it, and the changes also makes it like you may not want to do as much. And that's when the men at this age too may start saying, okay, my woman's old now and I need it now, and if she's not doing it, especially if you two are like close in age, then it's like, okay, because if you're with a much younger person, of course they're gonna have a different, like I said, in your 20s and 30s, you're still hopping around like fun stuff. But anyways, so because the women perimenopause or perimenopausal, when the period you start getting your period and you stop getting it, sometimes it takes like 2 days, sometimes it's not 2 months, and it comes back. But menopause is when you haven't had your period for 12 complete months. 12 consecutive months. Let's say if you have your period in January, you don't see it from February, April, and you see in May, you're not in menopause yet. You're still in premenopause, okay? And you also, if you're not on any birth control or anything like that, you want to make sure that you're talking to your GYN. You're still supposed to be seeing your GYN anyways, to make sure that you're getting cervical cancer screening, and also discussing other issues as you get older that relates to women as you get older. So you don't want to be thinking that you're going into menopause and it turns out you're pregnant. Okay. So because the lower estrogen, that can also mean like vaginal dryness. Nobody wants to be being intimate when it's painful. Okay, because your body's it's not putting all that secretion out as much as it used to. There's so many natural ways to take care of that. I know most people are, we come from a culture where people will be like, and they so yeah, like just really nasty insults, when especially even on Facebook too, when a younger person is like insulting an older woman, when that if they argue about something, let's say politics or whatever, something mundane, they start arguing, and it's like, oh yeah, we all know the words. We all know the words and all of that. So it can lead to the vaginal dryness can lead to pain for intercourse. If you speak to your friend, your GYN, that can easily be remedied. And that's natural. So if that's what you're going through right now, don't feel like, oh yeah, I'm old and I'm this and all of that's gonna happen to me. You can actually, your GYN can help you with that. Many, many natural things out there. And also, as you get to that age, you don't just want to just, jump and just get right into it. You have to work your way up into it. Okay, so it's like you make it like pre sorry. It's like, making love. It's not just going there and just doing it. Just like making sure you're sitting there, you're talking to each other, you're rubbing each other and all that too. Like get everything where it needs to be. The same way for a man at this point, he may not just become erected right away too. So you have to do what you have to do to get him to where he needs to be. Okay. So get him prepared, get that your preparatory parts out of the way and all that. And then that way you can get into it. You're not going to be able to do it when you're in your 20s where you can just, jump right into it and that's it. You have to work your way there. And that means if you're in a healthy relationship, you're going to have to understand that this is what needs to be done. Let's do it. Okay. The same way how, when you were younger, you could sit there and jump a rope for like 3 hours and jump from there and do this and eat and lose like lose 20 pounds. Well, when you get to 30s and 40s, you can't do that anymore. So the same thing with sexuality and same thing with sex and intimacy. You have to work your way. It's like a car. As your car get older, you have to crank it up a little bit for it to work. Don't be ashamed of that. That's just natural aging. Be happy you're alive and healthy to be able to do that, right? So like the testosterone also tends to decline, and that's when most of the men, I already talked about erectile dysfunction. So because of that, we're not just going to say yes to medication, go for it, and just go at it. No, we're not going to do that. We have to do everything again. Like I say, if you come to see me, I have to go through all that, and I may have to send you to a urologist or all that to take care of it. Okay, so in your 50s, both men and women report declines in sexual interest and how much they have sex. Usually they'd be like, okay, yeah. I think I used to watch Married with Children where when the father would say something, she's like, this is not your birthday. Okay, we'll do it on your birthday or special occasions. All right, so and then by then the kids are a little bit older, or some of the kids are still at home. You have to find time. You have different interests and all. And also, if you're having issues like relationship issues, nobody wants to be doing that when your husband pissed you off or your wife pissed you off and all. Of course, some people can do it regardless. Like they can just like walk from a funeral and be like, okay. And they can be. I've been at a funeral before where Somebody like I just like his father, like literally, you know, and he's like, okay, so you're not gonna hug me? My father's, I'm like, oh, okay. And I think I told this story to my cousin. We were at a place last year where I'm sitting there and we're gonna go visit my relative in the hospital, and this man was looking at us, my sister, my cousin-in-law. We walk into the hospital, and he's sitting there and he's in the car. And then later on, I came outside, and he's like, Miss, can I talk to you? I'm like, he said, you're married? I'm like, yeah. He goes, oh, your husband's a lucky guy. I'm like, oh, okay. I said, I was visiting. He goes, yeah, I'm waiting for my sister. My father, he's not doing well, so we probably gonna like try to take him off life support today because he lives his life and all. And I'm thinking to myself, your father is on the ventilator. And you have enough time to be sitting out here and looking for a woman. I mean, like seriously. I said, oh, and I give him a I just so it's like men they think about it from birth to death. I think it is like what men think about it 6 times a minute. So literally, what every 10 seconds, every 6 seconds, whatever the math is. So that doesn't mean women don't think about it too, but it's like you think about it all the time, and it's healthy. That's healthy as long as you're not doing anything that's perverted or anything criminal activities. That's healthy. But if it's going to cause a problem in your relationship because you have a high libido and your wife has a lower one or the wife has a higher one, you can work around it. So because of this in the 50s, there's lower quality erections. So meaning it'd be like, before you used to hang around for like at least, 20, 30 minutes. Now it's like, 2 or 3 minutes and you're done. It's like, and there's women's like, if your woman is still into it too, she'd be like, yeah, just do it and get it because you're going to be done in 2 seconds anyway. So what's the big deal? There's reduced volume also. So at this point, if he's older and he's dating somebody who wants to get pregnant, his sperm count may be low, so you're not putting out that much. It may be little difficult to get pregnant because at this point the volume is low. Again, I'm talking about vaginal lubrication. You can easily get something from your doctor can prescribe that. They also have the pill form. They have so many other different things, but we have to make sure that nothing else is going on. Like if you have a higher chance of ovarian cancer, breast cancer, and all that, they have to try the topical one, meaning like a cream that you can kind of apply on yourself there, and it stays there, and it's not like Vaseline. This one is like it's supposed to mimic your natural lubrication, and you can put that there, and you get yourself together, and once again crank up that engine and get everything going. I'm trying to keep this as professional as possible. Okay, alrighty. So less orgasmic pleasure. It's like okay when you're sitting there like okay yeah you're not getting fulfilled. Okay, orgasmic pleasure. I mean you're not getting fulfilled like the way it used to be. And he might be saying, well, I don't know. I mean you don't seem like you're not coming when you're supposed to come. You're not doing this, and it's like well. I guess yeah, okay. Well, it's not like that anymore. We communication. Okay. So again, you have to talk about it and you have to do a lot of things. Sometimes the foreplay maybe have to be 20 minutes and then the actual thing 3 minutes. Whatever floats your boat and you have the communication, you have to talk about that. There's no shame about it. As long as you're in a healthy relationship, there shouldn't be any reason why you shouldn't talk about that. Okay. Lower sexual function, like I said. And then also it's like with men, major cause of causes reduced sexual activity in females are loss of a spouse. Usually at this age, the kids are getting older, and sometimes you may have loss of spouse and all that too. So if a woman has lost a spouse, chances are usually that she's not going to go find somebody else right away, and she may not be interested in getting into sexual activities anymore. Men usually at this age or even older, their spouse died. Men don't take being single too long because they always have to have somebody with them, not necessarily for sex, but just like companionship. Like that's why you see most of the time when like grandma dies, it doesn't take long that grandpa dies after that because they're not used. They don't take being by themselves too well. Okay, so usually at this point, okay. So, but usually in your 50s, people are still doing it. They're still hopping around. You see 50-year-old men with their 30-year-old girlfriends or 25-year-old girlfriends. Usually at this time, they're trading the wife who's the same age for somebody else. And then also the woman may be like, okay, I've gained a little bit of weight because with menopause come with weight gain, come with different issues, also some orthopedic issues too. You can't jump around like you used to, be like, oh, let's do 10,000 different positions. And you're like, oh, yeah, okay, my knees hurt. My hips cannot do that anymore, and my back hurts. So, and then the man's like, oh, all this, no, 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 and then you have problems seeing, or you have to put your glasses on, or you have to, you know, different things, things that you didn't used to, didn't used to bother you before it starts bothering you at this age. Be just natural aging. Again, I keep saying it's sex and aging. It's not just talking about just doing that. So all of that, if you're in a healthy relationship, talk it over. And then also, if you're not in a relationship and you getting into a relationship, that's why it's important to make sure you're dating somebody who's like really mature, mentally, also, to say, okay, yes, I'm going to be having a girlfriend. She's in her 40s, she's in her 50s. I'm going to be dating a man who is in his 50s and who is in his 60s also. He may not be able to like go all night long. He may not be able to do this. He may not be able to just get on, be able to do it right away. I have to understand that as we age, things like that will happen and we need to work around it. We need to talk about it. I can't shame this person because she's not able to do this and be able to hang from the chandeliers and all that, if that's what you want to do. And also at this point too, it's like, if that's what you have other issues going on. So let's just do have healthy stuff. And if you want, if it doesn't work out, then fine. Don't have to be in a relationship. If that's the only thing that's keeping you guys together and it's not healthy, don't be in a relationship. But you may have to like talk it over. Again, it's mostly about communication. Okay, in your 60s, we're talking about, you still, people are still doing it, but at this age now, at this age, women as usually past the menopausal stage. So you're like postmenopausal, so you may need a little bit more. Also, like I said, it comes to like putting more lubrication, getting other medications that will help you there. For men, you may need some medication that will help you last a little bit longer, that will make you last the beauty, even at least sometimes if you have heart issues at that point, or you have advanced diabetes, the circulation may be very poor. So you may have to go see another doctor, like a urologist. So, and you'll be seeing a cardiologist. If your sugar is not highly managed, you have to see endocrinologist. So there's many other things. And if you also have thyroid issues too, for men and women at this point, if you have thyroid issues, you have to be on medications that's going to help that. Okay, but in the 60s, people are still doing it, 60s and plus. They're still doing it because you hear many stories about in a nursing home where Grandpa Obadiah and Grandpa Jedediah and Grandma Elsie, they're getting it on. And a lot of people, a lot of older people are having sexually transmitted diseases. And they're like, oh my God. And especially in our culture, oh my God, what were you doing? I want to find out. You finna get into this point. You're supposed to be taking care of grandchildren. You're supposed to be taking care of children. You're supposed to be going to church and reading your Bible or doing whatever religious thing you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be doing that. And older people ain't supposed to be doing that. You should have stopped that when you were 30, 40 years old. You're in your 60 years old and you're still looking for a man. I mean, and especially we're always shame the woman, because after all, at that point, she should be playing, putting some couture on her knees and just doing old people thing. You shouldn't be doing anything that says you're a woman or you have any that express your sexuality. Okay. So at this age, like sexual dysfunction, chronic illness, the death of a partner, because again, by this point, most people have lost their partners at that time, or they're much older, or their partner's really sick that they can't do it anymore. All become more common after age 60, and they also contribute to the decline in sex, like I said. But doesn't mean you can do it. Again, like I said, old people are doing it all the time. Grandpa's doing it. You see people who are, politicians who are in the 70s and got like 40-year-old, girlfriends and wives. They're doing something, right? So the reason, some of the reasons, so I said, okay, postmenopausal vaginal symptoms, erectile dysfunction, fatigue. Sometimes you're just tired, especially at this age. You're probably like high up in your field, and you have other issues and all the stress. You're just tired, like, no, like, no. Okay, let's hold hands and just read a book and just relax and just watch TV. Like, why? And it's like, and you have to do that. Kids think, hold each other, touching each other, just being close to each other all the time. Doesn't necessarily have to be sex. It's just holding hands, and that alone can kind of stir things up. Okay. Stress and everything that going on, body image concern. You know how like men, they always like to talk the fact that, okay, and then also you get to that point where you're like, I'm a little old now and I don't have all the different things and these hairs over there, and again, like, you start growing hair on your chin, you start doing this. Doesn't mean you can still groom. And if your husband loves you or your partner loves you and all that, he or she will understand. And for men, don't think you don't have physical things too, because you have the belly, you have again, like I said, there's decrease and the erection, you have problems maintaining the erection. And when you take it, I mean, your testicles drop too and all that. So it's not like to say only women that want to go through it. Men go through body changes too. And they may be thinking, okay, I'm not the stallion that I used to be. And will she still like me if I'm doing this? Will she still like me if my teeth are not the same way anymore? Or I can barely see, or I got some circulation issues, and then my heart, I have to worry about, oh, I don't want to have, I've had a heart attack before, I have a heart issues, all of that. Okay. And again, it goes back to our society to where the culture believes that when you get to a certain age, you shouldn't be doing those things anyways. So all of that, as for younger people in your 20s, and even people who are like getting older in their 30s, these are conversations you need to start having down and saying, yes, we believe in our culture. Yes, we understand our culture and honor our culture, but these are things that we have to start talking about. So when we get there, we can talk about it. Because, if the man goes out and get a young girlfriend, or the woman can have a boyfriend, or whatever is going on, that would hurt people eventually. That would break up families and all that. So, and sex shouldn't be the only reason why you should be going out anyways. And it's not say, okay, my wife can do it. Because there'll be times like you both can do it for whatever health reasons. She had surgery, she had this, she had that, or whatever. So that's something you have to talk about in communication, 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 honest communication. Seriously, say, how do you feel about me when I take my clothes off? What do you see? Do you still see the beautiful young girl that I was when I was there? Do you see this older lady now who is just as beautiful, but in a mature way? And if he's really vain and physical, he might not say, but his attitude will start changing, or she may not say her attitude will start changing. But it really depends on communication over the years, and don't be stuck to your culture. Okay, yes, our culture say you shouldn't be doing this because you're at this age. Don't get stuck on that. Make sure you're doing something more about it. Okay. And so there's so many ages, there's so many again body issues concerned, and so the consequence of aging can be unavoidable. You're gonna age. You're gonna get to the point where your body cannot do certain things anymore. Like I said, you're not gonna be hanging from the chandeliers. You're not gonna be doing it on the kitchen counter or sitting, all the many places you did it. They'll be like, okay, remember when we used to be in the car, and then no, it's like, like, oh, wait a second, my back, oh no, my knee, no, let's just don't do it there. Find other ways to get it on. Okay, so and do that. All right. So, but I will be. Let me just before I get to the next part here, let me just go in here and just see. There's so many questions though. There's so many comments. No, let me look in here. So, hello, Charles said, hello, I'm watching from ELW Monrovia. So, thank you. I'm happy to see all these people watching from back home. It's watching from Francis, is watching from Caldwell. And then it said, what are we bad off when it comes to thinking about sex? No, no, it's of course not. That's natural. That is totally natural. Like I said, I guess like I would say, God has got to be a man because He made it where men can just think about it all the time. I've had patients where they were much older and they're there for so many different reasons, and they're still thinking about it. So there's nothing wrong with it as long as it's healthy thinking. So okay, John said, "What a great education is." Instead of Liberians coming to get some education, they would rather be in I'm not gonna touch that. I'm not. I'm not. Okay. And first I'm watching. Okay, so first is stuck again. So let me just see here. Eugenia said, "Thanks, Abby, for the education." Oh, thank you, Miss the First Lady of FOL. Thank you. Then it said, "What is the impact of using Viagra or any drug substance to enhance your sexual life?" There is no, I mean, you can use it. There's nothing wrong with it. Like I said, when I prescribe it for my patients, I always have to make sure that I make that. Well, I have to make sure before I prescribe that they have to have like the healthy heart. So I'm looking at the blood pressure. I'm looking at all the other medications they're taking. I'm making sure that like diabetes and the A1C is under control. That they're eating healthy, and anything else that may be causing that. So because you can't have really high blood pressure, uncontrolled blood pressure and uncontrolled diabetes, and I'm prescribing Viagra for you, that's just going to cause a problem. Because eventually, like they tell you, if you sit in there and you're being intimate and you have an erection for about 4 hours, you're going to eventually pass out because all that blood is just everything that's supposed to be perfused into your body is concentrated just right in your groin area, and that could be a problem. So in case if you do that, by the way, make sure you go let somebody drive you to the hospital, and so you get an injection right there to make the penis a little more flaccid so you can be able to breathe better. Okay, and it doesn't kill you. So again, we have to make sure that you are medically stable before we can prescribe that. Okay, some people buy of the market, and that's not safe because again, I tell people if you get things off the black market, you don't know what you're taking, so you want to be careful about that. Adolphus Williams says, "Please take your time to speak and take time in handling the topic." I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you mean by that. I'm a professional. Okay, alrighty, but okay. I'm sorry, I do speak a little fast if that's what you mean. Okay, and somebody said, what is the cause of quick ejaculation? Well, again, it could be some circulation issues in your body that's causing you to come quickly. And sometimes you have some issues that you have to probably get an ultrasound to see the urologist to make sure nothing else is going on. And some people just have quick ejaculation. But if that is the case, you shouldn't be coming 2 minutes and 3 minutes because even you want to be able to get to the point where, but you don't want to get to the point where you're like so ready to do it and you go right into it. Have enough foreplay so you can last a little longer, because some people just want to just get right into it. Have low foreplay, do role playing, where she's the cowgirl, you're the cowboy, she's the this. And please don't say you're the nurse, because it's biggest thing. Oh yeah, one person played the nurse. No, no, no. Find something else. Okay, do something else. Role playing, talking about it. Sending each other lovely texts prior to your work, sending that. So when you finally get together and all, you have enough time to get to that point. Because when you're not doing that, it's just coming right out. Okay, so talk it over and do that. And as you age and all, it's gonna be less and less. I'm just letting you know, some people can last longer. I'm not talking about the ones who fall outside of the realm there. Okay, so thanks for the program. Just as a thanks for the program. Watching from GSA Road, Monrovia. I'm 60 but strong and kicking. All right, Joseph. I hope your partner, your girlfriend, your wife is kicking as well, and you all having a good time. Okay, and let me see there. Jackie said, "Can one be?" Oh, whatever makes such a wow. Okay. Yes. Whatever floats your boat. Like, do role playing. Like I said, one person can be, the president. One person can be the intern. Whatever, and it's just, and for you religious people too, you just because you're a pastor or you're if you're married, like if kind of religious people, you're married, not like priests who, oh, priests who can get married that way, that's different. But if you're doing that, if you can just still do role play, it doesn't have to be all holy, but that's up to you. I'm not here to tell you how to do your stuff. But so as we get to this point, and so part two, so you're saying, okay, Abby, you just told us all about all these different things how we can do to and all the different things, how it affects us from age 20 to all the way to age 60. So how can we make this better? But so I will tell you that. But so we're at 36 minutes right now. So this is what I'm going to do. I'll have you all sit tight, and I'll be back next Tuesday so we can conclude, sex. Okay. Because I don't want to make this long, 1 hour long. So next Tuesday, I will talk about all the different foods to eat, all the different foods to stay away from, the kind of different things we do as medical professionals. I already alluded to some of them, but in the meantime, just sit there, wait till next week, and we'll be able to do this. It's just like, it's also setting the yes, yes, you got to do that. I mean, when you sit in the car with your husband or your boyfriend, you can reach over. Don't do anything that's going to cause him to get an accident, or don't do anything that's going to cause him to get an accident. You just hold her hands, sometimes just touching, just rubbing on somebody, or just leaning side to side, and all of that. It doesn't have to be something so very informative. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Jackson. Thanks for the show. Let me see if I don't want to, because I know I get in trouble if I miss people. Is it safe to have sex at the back? Yeah. I mean, when you're talking about anal sex, I'm not going. If your partner likes that and all that, if that's what you're into, yeah. But as long as when I also talked about orthopedic, if your bones are strong and all, you can do that. But again, that's something you want to have conversations about and talk about, because you don't want to just come on and just do it and the person's not ready. And then be respectful. If the person said, no, I'm not into that, you have to be respectful of that. So you can do everything. And I'm saying all this. I also wanted to preface the front point that if you're not in a committed relationship, please make sure you're using protection. Okay. And it's not just, oh, yeah, I'm on birth control so I can get pregnant. Make sure you're using condoms and all. And also, the same way, things like herpes, you can still pass it on even if you have condoms on, because the skin is rubbing against skin. So the skin that's outside of the vagina, the skin that's outside of the penis, that whole area, you rubbing against that. And also, when you're putting if you're having oral sex and he's putting his mouth over there, you're putting your mouth over there, you can also get diseases from there. And with herpes, once you get it, you get it forever, okay? And it comes back and back and back and back and back. So if the person has cold sore, which almost everybody has nowadays, because most people get it when they're younger anyways, from sharing spoons and all, if you see anything on the person's mouth, don't go ahead and do it. Just say nope, 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 nope. Listen, we're not gonna be doing it. Don't put your mouth on. No, keep your mouth to yourself until it heals up. And if you see anything down there, and also if you're in a new relationship, inspect the entire area. Hold that, the penis up, look at it, make sure there's nothing on there, make sure there's no discoloration, no rash, look all in the pubic hair, let the woman do the same, man do the same thing too. Look around. You got to be careful about your stuff, because eventually, especially those who, if you're going to have babies later on, you don't want anything that's going to affect childbearing years. Okay, so we will go on for a part 2 next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Please join me and invite everybody. So I just want to say thank you all. Please share the show. Please share the show. If you like and follow. If you don't, for those of you on Focus on Liberia or other places, please find Abby Tyler's Healthy Living page. Look for the one that says Abby Tyler's Healthy Living page. Like and follow. You can still watch on Focus on Liberia, but please, I am trying to get, that didn't be my quota for July. So I'm trying to see if I can get that before August is over. Okay, so thank you all for watching. I think I got to all the questions. If I didn't, I'll write my comments in there. And I'll see you all next Tuesday, 7 o'clock, same place, same time. Okay. In the meantime, I'll be on for Friday chat with Abby this Friday. But thank you all for watching. Wasn't it exciting? So we'll be talking more about what you're supposed to eat, how you're supposed to rub the oil on you, and all the healthy parts. Because again, I'm more about the healthy part. Okay, it's not just, but sex is part of life. Okay, so I will see you guys next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for your love and support. Good night. God bless.